That's Savannah and Terror in Disguise. You heard it first right here on the David Bowers Awards. As a matter of fact, you heard it at the beginning of April of 2020, for those of you listening in the future. Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from her again, and I do believe you're going to be hearing a lot more from Savannah. We want to thank our listeners, and we also want to thank some of the good people that help us keep this show on the road, and that one is Mary Perry, who's an accredited disability representative in Rochester, New York, who underwrites the David Bowers Awards on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ, FM 106.3, our flagship station back there in Rochester. All the good folks up there. And while you're at it, if you're online checking out Rochester Free Radio, check out Jeff Moulton's ABC Oldies, Saturday evenings at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Rochester Free Radio. You find them online, rochesterfreeradio.com. John Bon Jovial, what say you in the break here?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of looking forward to our next guest. Savannah was great. I love Savannah. God, that girl
Absolutely,
can sing.
Yes.
Wow, she's got such a great voice. And not to belittle her in any way, shape, or form, but I am so excited about our next guest. And this is, the second or third time that we've had him on.
Yeah, it's at least the second.
Yeah,
I don't know how many, but...
And Mr. Tommy James of Crimson and Clover fame and Moni Moni and other great hits. Wow. I mean, I'm so looking forward to saying hello to him and talking to him. And I know he's sitting there in the green room right now saying, shut up, come on, let's get to the interview.
Absolutely. And we've been trying for quite some time to get the schedules worked out so that we can have this gentleman back on the show again, because he is such a major music figure. He is a classic pop rock and roll artist. He's a legend from 60s and 70s rock, and he's here with us today. This, you mentioned Moni Moni, John Bon Jovial. This is the song that Tommy James said he should have followed up Moni Moni with. Here he is, Tommy James. It's called Hey Saloni.
When you see me start screaming, baby, I ain't gonna quit. Gonna show you shapes and sizes that
And ladies and gentlemen, our next guest standing by, ready to go. So let's bring on the one, the only, Tommy James. Tommy, how are you?
Well, I'm great. Great talking with you.
Oh, great having you back. It's been entirely too long. So happy to have you here, and I understand you've got a bunch of stuff going on, and we want to get right to it so that we cover everything. The first thing I wanted to ask you about, I understand that you have signed a new name on the movie project, Me, the Mob, and the Music, from your book of the same name.
Right. Well, it's been a long time in the works, and it's fascinating watching the whole crew come together. Our director, Kathleen Marshall, has just come on board, and of course you know that the movie is being produced by Barbara DeFina, who produced Goodfellas and Casino, right, and just a whole string of great movies. And so she is producing our film as well, and Kathleen Marshall is going to direct, and Matthew Stone has done the screenplay. So they are literally casting as we speak, and it's really incredible watching it all together. This is the first time I've ever been involved this closely in a project like this, and so it's really fascinating watching it happen.
Oh, I can really believe it is. And from having read the book a couple of times, I am excited as hell to see this come to fruition, because especially with the people you've got on board, it is going to be, to borrow a phrase from your book title, one hell of a ride. I'm really looking forward to it. But I got to ask you the question everybody wants to know. Who's going to play Tommy James?
Oh, boy. Well, see, that is the first one they started casting, and we're 90% sure, and I'm not allowed to go ahead and say. I'm just not allowed. I'm going to have to let the grown-ups do this. The character playing me is going to be a great talent and a super individual. That's all I can tell you right now. Then after that is definitely put to bed, then they're going after the Morris Levy character, who was the head of Roulette Records, and really the star of the show, as far as I was concerned. It's going to be fascinating with Morris Levy, the Morris Levy character.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, it's going to be fun watching these people. The team that was up at Roulette, because essentially the story, of course, is about my tumultuous and scary relationship with Roulette Records, the label I had most of my hits on.
Right.
And the reason, of course, it was scary and tumultuous was because, in addition to being a functioning record company, which they were, and a really good indie label, they were also a front for the Genovese crime family in New York.
Right.
So, watching the central characters come together is very important, because it was like a little family up there, literally.
Right.
And in more ways than one, I guess you could say.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to mention, because I am really looking forward to that as an integral part of the movie, watching the relationship with you and Morris Levy develop and how it progresses and where it goes, because, of course, the story is in the book, and you've talked with me about this, and I think that's a fascinating and really, I think, aside from your music and career, I think that is the focal point of the entire story.
You're absolutely right. And that's why it's so important that those two characters work well together, like it really happened. And I don't know, it's a very human story. It's almost like an abusive father-son relationship. And so it's very important to get all that in these two characters. So they're really looking at all of those little nuances to make sure that everything's right.
Right, and it's just so exciting just thinking about this, because, well, the popularity and demand for mobster movies in this country. And I mean, they're America's cowboys, really.
Right.
And,
you put the mob and rock and roll together, and it's an amazing package.
It's an unbeatable story. And then with the crew you've got working on it, I mean, the director and the rest of the production crew, it's I can't wait. Really, I really can't wait.
Well, I feel the same way, and thank you for the nice plug. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and I hope that you come by and stop with us and talk about it when it does come out. And love to
definitely. We're looking at it probably another 18 months.
Right.
That's just the speed at which things happen, It's amazing to me, frankly, that any movie ever gets made.
I know what you're saying.
There are so many moving parts, and one of the most fascinating and sometimes exasperating things is that everybody has a schedule. So as all these technical people come on board, the job of the producer is to pick a time when everybody can get together at exactly the same time and make it happen. What an amazing job Barbara DeFina has producing, because it really is, as I say, so many moving parts and everything has to work together at the same time.
It is. It's amazing, and I really envy you being a participant in it. It's just fascinating. I want to move along before we run out of time, because there's so much to talk about. You've got so many things going on now. I also wanted to touch base and give you a chance to plug your Sirius XM show.
Sure. Well, thank you. My show on Sirius XM on 60s on 6 is every Sunday from 5 to 8 Eastern Time. It's called Getting Together. And, we of course play a lot of 60s hits, but the whole philosophy of the show basically is that so many songs and so much music was created in the 1960s that no one ever got a chance to hear, because there just wasn't room for it on the charts. There wasn't room for it on radio. There wasn't room for it anywhere, in the trades, anywhere, because there were so many artists making music. So we get a chance, in addition to the hits, to play a lot of songs that should have been hits, and that we feel really deserve a second look. You wouldn't believe a lot of big artists who had records that just never went anywhere because they either didn't have the right distribution